Hi everybody, thanks for checking out this video on G4G. Today's video is going to be a thank you to everybody in the Napalm's Army. We've hit 1K plus subs on the channel, and I just wanted to go ahead and send a shout out to everybody who subbed and everybody who comes by the channel and watches the videos. I mean, 1K subs in the grand scheme of things is a drop inside of a drop inside of a drop inside of a bucket here on YouTube. But in all honesty, it's a milestone that I never thought I would reach, and certainly never intended to create any kind of a milestone like that here on YouTube. But I'm real happy I hit it. And as of last count, I'm actually up at 1,011 subs. Man, I was sitting at 999 for so many days. It was like waiting for Christmas as a 6-year-old. Man. Really happy about that. When I had my first upload to YouTube so many years ago, there was no Total Biscuits and PewDiePies and Watch Mojos and everything. So I just wanted to give a little bit of a video, letting you guys know about the channel and who I am and my background and everything. This is my cat Arthas. I got him back in 2013. I like to think he's a Russian Blue. I've always wanted a Russian Blue, and that's why when a friend of mine had a kitten that they had to give up and posted a picture of him online, I was like, ooh, I want him. So he flew all the way out from Arizona to North Carolina. He's, of course, named after Arthas in World of Warcraft. And just wanted to show you guys some of my most popular videos over here. A lot of my Wrath beta content has probably driven the most views for the channel. You can see the new Beastmaster exotic pets here in Wrath of the Lich King has 76k views. And then some videos on my TTC side, Tim's Tech Corner, have also a lot of views here. A Del Streak rooted, an HTC Flyer rooted, a Transformer 300, TF300 rooted, and then some more Wrath videos. Also the Ashbringer sequence in South Shore, which I still believe is in the game. Bounty Hounds Online, which is extremely popular in the Philippines for some particular reason. A rooted Lenovo K1, Algernon, which I do believe is now on Steam, but this was such a horrible game back then. This one's also big in a lot of overseas countries, and as you can see, it has way more dislikes than likes. Finding Malagos in the Wrath beta, some Death Knight stuff, and one of my most recent videos that's actually shot way up in views is the Marvel Avengers Alliance 2 global release tips and tricks. So a little bit about me over here. I have been into computers since God knows how long. Basically, the first computer that I ever had was a Commodore 64. And my first gaming platform was an Atari 2600. And in between the Atari 2600 and the Commodore 64, I actually had an Atari 400 computer, which was cartridge and tape based. So, believe it, man, I wish I could just go all the way back to the very first one. The Atari 400 had microwave keys, it was cassette based, it was cartridge based. Back then, almost everything other than the NES used the Atari joystick port. So the Commodore did, the Atari did, the Atari 400 did, the Sega did, Sega Master System. Commodore 64 was probably the most formative time that I ever had in gaming. That's probably what defined where I am today in terms of games that I like and everything like that. The first game that I ever loaded on my Commodore 64 was actually Ultima 3. And that probably set the tone for me to be an RPG lover. And here are some of my favorite videos, actually, of all time. The Wrath videos, Vindictus. This was a fun beta to get into. I like doing videos for Vindictus. And Lotro. Lord of the Rings Online, I got into that beta. That was a lot of fun. So, Ultima 3 was the first game that I really was able to load, and then from there, it kind of set the tone where I really loved Ultima 3, Ultima 4, a little less so Ultima 2, Ultima 5, and the Bard's Tale series, Bard's Tale 1, 2, and 3, Wasteland, which was considered Bard's Tale of the Apocalypse, and that is the universe that actually gave rise to Fallout. Believe it or not, the Fallout universe is set in the Wasteland universe, and that was back when Electronic Arts was called ECA instead of just EA. So the first video that I ever uploaded to YouTube was my druid in vanilla tanking a Baron run. So this was way, way back when Fraps was my recording, and added in some music through an app called VDub, and there's my old Druid UI from vanilla, and I can remember a lot of these add-ons. As you can see, this is so old. This is when Stratholme was a 10-man instead of just a 5-man, and I recognize those unit frames, and then some AQ20 stuff over here. And then moved on to some TBC content, and there is the Ashbringer sequence. So, I was a big RPGer, also really liked the SSI games, which were called the Gold Box games. They were the AD&D games at the time. And they were this series of games by Strategic Simulations, like Pools of Radiance, Curse of the Azure Bonds, and a few others. Let's see if we can get... Now, Pools of Radiance there they are. That's what it looked like. So this was a series that I really loved back in my Commodore days, and was not that crazy about the Dragonlance series, but I liked all of the Forgotten Realms games way back then. And this is kind of what this is what it looked like over here. This is one of my favorite series of games, aside from the Bard's Tale series and the Ultima series. Ultima 3 would eventually get ported over to the NES. So from there, I would go away to college, and then towards the end of college, I got my first IBM PC, and that's when I got really into FPSs. Things like Doom, Doom 2, the original Descent with its 6 Degrees of Freedom, Rise of the Triad, Duke Nukem, all the cheesy engine ripoffs of the time of like Corridor 7 and Blake Stone, also Wolfenstein, and also got into the original Diablo, Civ 2, the very original Tomb Raider, but there was a point in Tomb Raider where I actually got stuck and couldn't find my way of how to get through to the next area. And after a few years later, after a PC upgrade, I went and got Unreal, the original Unreal, before it was Unreal Tournament. And that's pretty much what set the tone over there, and that's when I started getting into shooters, and a job that I had at Bank of America is what put me into Unreal Tournament 99. We had a deal that if we met our criteria for the week, we would go into the training room and play games against each other, and that's when I got introduced to UT99 and became a competitive UT99 player and started playing on leagues like Proving Grounds and IGL and OGL and Team Warfare. I've been a high-up ladder admin at Proving Grounds and IGL before they went defunct. Also was a multiple ladder admin at Team Warfare. Was part of Nerve's undefeated Red Faction team towards the end of it. Was also on their enemy territory team. Also on the #1 Halo PC CTF clan. Over on Team Warfare. That was Nerve also. would come back to Team Warfare to admin for them for Titanfall, which never really got off the ground. And that's about it for most of the admin duties. I've admined at a lot of places. Was an admin for a place doing a small ladder for UT2K3 CTF, but UT2K3 never really took off. And also was a Red Faction admin over at a very small site called G Leagues that did some competitive Red Faction stuff. I've been a server admin for gaming servers like UT99 and 2K4. And eventually I would get into World of Warcraft. Now, at the time, with World of Warcraft, all the FPS players, we were kind of the jocks of the gaming community. And when it came to when it came to doing MMOs and everything like that, we always considered MMOs the lame games out there in the universe. They were always thought of like the geeky games and whatnot. And there was a lot of MMOs out at the time like Asheron's Call and Dark Age of Camelot that we just had no interest in. And then I got into the beta of Guild Wars and really liked it. And then got into the beta of the original Vanilla WoW and actually sort of started off disliking it compared to Guild Wars because I didn't like the graphics nearly as much, but I liked the fact that I was able to go out in the world with my full complement of abilities. And I wound up getting World of Warcraft a little after it was released, about a month or so afterwards, and would go on to found Nerve's Guild over on Bloodhoof, Horde-side, PvE, and we hold the second oldest charter in Bloodhoof history in terms of active Horde guilds that are around. Ours dates back to January of 2015, still active, and we still have some original charter signers in the guild. And that's pretty much what led me to uploading videos here on YouTube and everything. This was the second video I ever uploaded, which is us facing Kurnax in AQ20 back in Vanilla. That's my Warlock, Faye Valentine, that is up on the rock over here. And I would continue to do a lot of beta videos for betas and alphas that I was getting into, which is one of my favorite things of all time. And that's what led me over to Marvel Avengers Alliance. When I got into the beta of Marvel Avengers Alliance, that's because I happened to see Justin on a network called G4. He was on a show called not Attack of the Show, that was the other one. He was on X-Play. And he was talking about a beta of a game he was putting on Facebook, and he said, man, I want this to be as epic as Final Fantasy VII. And that's what we are striving for over here. And he invited people who watched the show to get into the beta. And I did get into the beta, started playing it on Facebook, and I have one of the original pieces of gear in the game called the X-Play Exploiter. Not a lot of people have that. I've only ran into one other person in the game that I know of that has it. They were running it on a PvP defensive team. So somewhere around there, I got really into Marvel Avengers Alliance and started looking at videos for it to get better, and that's where I ran into people like CJ Edwards and Kingfisher, and it was probably Kingfisher's The Thing is Invincible in PvP video where he used Black Bolt and the Emerald Prism that kind of got me into producing my own Marvel Avengers Alliance videos. So, going forward in the future, the channel's still going to be continuing to do beta videos for betas that I get into and everything. I'm going to be introducing some new videos on a game called Duelist and a few others. I've never really done a Let's Play on the channel, but I was starting to for Battleborn, especially back when it was in beta. I wanted some Let's Play videos out before it went live. And some of the areas I would like to break into is some more popular videos for Heroes of the Storm, and also want to put out a lot of Legion content for World of Warcraft before that goes live, while that's still in beta, and going to be continuing to produce Marvel Avengers Alliance 1 and 2 videos. At some point, I should hopefully get back into doing some of my Tim's Tech Corner work. I just need to find a few things that I really want to put out there. So, thank you very much, everybody, for more than 1K subs on the channel. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed learning about the channel and me. Last thing that I wanted to talk about before I wrapped it up is how I make the videos right now is that I record through the GeForce Experience, which is a utility for higher powered NVIDIA cards. Record it over there and then edit it and add in the transitions and the intros through a piece of program called Camtasia. Before that, I did everything through Fraps and would edit things in VDub, including adding the music tracks and everything like that, but I wasn't doing intros back then. And I played around with a few other recording apps, but right now I like recording off the GeForce Experience because there is no hit to frame rate or performance when I do it like that. So, thanks everybody for checking out the video, and stay tuned on the channel. Hope you guys have enjoyed the content I produce. See ya.